John, Spot and Muff on holiday. A picture textbook of English for children.
The Three Friends. This is John. John is a boy. This is Spot, the dog. This is Muff, the cat. All three of them are good friends. It's holiday time.
Hurrah! Hurrah! It's holiday time.
John is laughing and jumping about. The children are laughing and jumping about.
Hurrah! Hurrah!
John cries.
I'm going to visit Granny and Grandpa.
Setting off. The train sets off. John is waving goodbye. Spot is waving goodbye. Muff is also waving goodbye. John calls out,
Goodbye, Mummy. Goodbye, Daddy.
Mummy and Daddy are also waving goodbye. Mummy calls out,
Be a good boy, John.
The holiday begins. The sun is shining. Spot is still asleep in bed. John cries,
Get up! Get up! Muff is already up. Granny is already up. Grandpa is already up. Everybody is up now. Get up! Get up, Spot!
In the yard. John calls Granny.
Come here quickly, Granny. Look at this. What is it? I'm afraid of it.
Granny comes, looks at it and laughs.
That is just a frog. There's nothing to be afraid of.
John calls Spot.
Come here, Spot. Look, this is a frog.
Spot comes, and Muff also comes. Spot barks. Muff meows. Muff jumps about. The frog leaps, hop, and the frog disappears. A new friend.
Look, Spot, there's a little girl.
Spot barks. Muff says nothing.
Hello.
Says the girl.
Hello,
Says John.
What's your name?
Asks the girl.
I'm John. And what's your name?
Asks John.
I'm Jane.
Says the girl.
What's your doll called?
Asks John.
She's called Susie.
Says Jane.
These are my friends Muff and Spot.
Says John.
Oh, aren't they sweet?
Says Jane.
We're on holiday. Are you?
Asks John.
Yes, I am.
Says Jane.
Fantastic. Let's go and play together.
John, Jane, Muff and Spot play hide and seek.
Come on, Jane. Let's go and play hide and seek.
Says John.
Just the two of us?
Asks Jane.
No, Muff and Spot are also going to play with us.
Says John.
And where are we going to hide?
Asks Jane.
Here in the yard.
Says John.
Quickly, let's hide.
Find us. And you, my dear friend, find us. Where are your friends? They are in the yard. What are they doing? They are playing hide and seek. Where is Muff? She is in the tree. Where is John? He is behind the tree. Where is Spot? He is under the bush. Where is Jane? She is behind the canal.
Evening. It is evening. The stars are shining. John is already in bed. Granny is sitting on the bed. She is telling him a story. It is a lovely story. Spot is lying on the floor. Muff is not in the room. Where then is she? Muff is walking on the roof.
Good night, Granny. Good night, Spot.
Good night, John. Sleep well.
In the balloon. John is asleep. What's happening all of a sudden to the eiderdown? The eiderdown is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's a balloon. Jane, John, Muff and Spot and the doll Susie are all in the balloon. John is the captain. The balloon is flying high up in the sky. It's flying over the forest, over the sea, over the town.
Come and look, Jane. There's the house where Mommy and Daddy live. Let's go down and say hello.
The balloon goes down quickly.
Be careful, John, there is a tower.
Cries out Jane, but it's too late. There is a crash and a bang.
Oh, oh,
Cries John, and he falls onto the floor. And that's the end of the dream, and the eiderdown is once more an eiderdown.
A letter to Mommy and Daddy. Dear Mommy and Daddy, it is very lovely here. I am very good. Muff and Spot are also very good. We are all very good. Granny tells us lovely stories. I am going to write again soon. Lots of love, John. Muff writes this. The scratches like a cat. And this is Spot, who says hello. Once again, lots of love, John. Granny's birthday. It's Granny's birthday. Grandpa, John and Spot come and wish her a happy birthday. Grandpa gives Granny some flowers. Spot barks. Woof, woof. John gives Granny a little basket full of strawberries and sings. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Granny. Happy birthday to you.
The cherries are ripe. In the orchard, the cherries are already ripe. Grandpa wants to pick the cherries. Grandpa puts a ladder against the cherry tree. John says,
leave it, Grandpa. I'm young. I can do it. I don't need a ladder.
John climbs the tree. He picks the cherries happily. His little basket is soon full. Spot carries the basket to Granny. Granny makes a lovely cake. Grandpa is very happy. He has a good grandson. The kennel. John tells Spot,
Spot, your kennel is ugly. Go and get paint and brushes. Let's paint your kennel.
John and Muff wait in front of the kennel. Spot brings the paint. He brings black paint.
A black kennel? That's too sad. Spot, find another color,
says John. Spot brings other colors. Yellow, red, green and blue. They all paint together. Muff paints the roof red. Spot paints the walls yellow. John paints the front green. Finished at last. John is happy and asks,
"Well, what do you think about it, Spot?"
Spot barks. He is also happy. Only Muff is sad. Muff is dirty, and cats don't like that,
"Don't be sad, Muff.
says John.
You can be a tiger."
John takes a brush and paints red stripes on Muff. Muff runs around the yard. Geese and ducks run away. They think, "There's a tiger! There's a tiger!" But that's not a tiger. That's poor Muff. Just you wait, John. Just you wait.
In the forest. Grandpa and John are walking in the forest. Grandpa has a stick. John carries a little basket. Where are Muff and Spot? They are at home. They can't go into the forest. Spot is asleep in front of his kennel. Muff is sleeping in front of the door. The forest is lovely. The trees are very big. Squirrels are jumping from branch to branch. Little birds are singing. Grandpa finds a mushroom in the grass. How big it is! John picks strawberries. How sweet they are! Suddenly a strong wind begins to blow. There is thunder and lightning. Grandpa says, "It's beginning to rain, and we are going to get wet." John finds an old hut. The hut has no door. "That's a partisan's hut," says Grandpa. They walk in. John wants to know, "Who are the partisans, Grandpa?" Grandpa says, "Partisans are heroes. They fight for freedom." Then Grandpa tells John some stories about partisans. Outside it is raining. Grandpa and John can't go home. But at last Spot rescues John and Grandpa. He brings Grandpa's big umbrella. Spot is also a hero. All three of them go home happily under the umbrella. They don't get wet because it is dry under the umbrella.
The children bath Susie the doll. It is raining outside. The children are indoors.
"What are we going to do?"
Asks John.
I don't know.
Says Jane.
"I have a good idea,"
Says John.
"Let's bath Susie. She's very dirty."
Jane brings a bowl full of water. Now John can wash the doll. He puts Susie into the bowl. He washes Susie with soap. Oh dear, what's happening to Susie? Where is Susie? There are only pieces of paper in the bowl. Spot looks for Susie, but he can't find her.
Oh, where is my doll?
Cries Jane.
"Don't cry, Jane. I can make you another doll out of wood. A paper doll is not very good, as you can see."
And this is the new wooden doll. It is also called Susie.
John does some stupid things. "What are you doing, John? Where are you climbing with the umbrella?" asks Jane. John says nothing and climbs higher. John is already high up in the tree. Muff is also high up in the tree, because she is climbing with John. John cries, "Look, Jane, I'm going to jump with my parachute." "How silly you are," says Jane. "An umbrella is not a parachute." But John doesn't listen. He opens the umbrella and jumps. Splash! The water in the pond splashes everywhere. John is soaked from head to foot, but he is not hurt. "You are lucky," says Jane, and they both laugh. In the river. It is a beautiful summer day. The sun is shining. Jane, John, Muff and Spot are going to swim. Spot doesn't jump in. He is sitting on the bank and barking. Muff is lying under a tree. Cats don't swim. John is waving to Spot. "Come on, Spot! Come and catch us!" John is swimming in the river. Jane is jumping into the water. Spot jumps into the water and swims to Jane. Now they're racing. Jane swims quickly. John swims more quickly. And Spot swims the quickest. Spot is the winner. A race. John, Muff and Spot are racing. Who is going to win the race? It is quite clear. Spot is first, Muff is second, and John is third. The children play by the stream. A stream flows near the garden. There is a little bridge over the stream. John sits on the bridge and puts a paper boat in the water. John's boat is red. Jane sits on the bank and also puts a paper boat on the water. Jane's boat is white. "Oh, look! The boats are off!" cried Jane and John. Whose boat goes more quickly? Is John's quicker or is Jane's? Both boats go quickly, but John's boat goes more quickly. Jane and John run after the boats. Muff and Spot also run. Suddenly, John stumbles over a stone. John falls into the stream. "Oh!" cries Jane, who is afraid. But luckily, Spot, John's faithful friend, is here. He pulls John by his trousers. He pulls him out of the stream. But where are the boats? Oh, the boats are already far away. Let's leave them to float to the sea. New friends. John sees a group of boys and girls in the street. They all live in the village. They are also on holiday. John calls to them, "Hello, come on, let's go and play together." The children are sitting on a bench. John is sitting next to Peter. Peter is sitting next to Paul. Paul is sitting next to Jack. Jack is sitting next to Dick. Dick is sitting next to Bob. Bob is sitting next to Anne. Anne is sitting next to Jane. Then they play at Indians. They walk in Indian file. John walks in front of Peter. Peter walks in front of Paul. Paul walks in front of Jack. Jack walks in front of Dick. Dick walks in front of Jane. Jane walks in front of Bob. Bob walks in front of Anne. Anne is the smallest of them all. Muff and Spot are also there, and also play at Indians, but they look very funny.
The children play football. John looks out of the window and sees the children in the street. John calls to them.
Where are you going?
The children cry.
We are going to play football. Come with us.
John cries.
Wait for me. I'm coming.
The children play football on the grass. One team plays in shirts and the other team plays without them. Spot runs after the ball. The girls cry.
Come on, John. Come on, Paul.
The score is 1-1. Suddenly, Peter arrives in front of the goal. He wants to shoot. John is a very good goalkeeper, but this time he can't stop the ball. Peter is certainly going to score a goal, but no. At the last moment, Spot jumps at the ball. He catches it and runs away with it. There cannot be a goal, and the match cannot go on. The children cannot play football without the ball. The game ends. The score is still 1-1.
John learns to ride a scooter. Peter, John's friend, has a scooter. John says, "Peter, please lend me your scooter." "Certainly," says Peter, and he lends his scooter to Peter. John is brave. He immediately sets off down a steep hill. He goes more and more quickly. Now Spot cannot overtake John. Suddenly, John comes to a sharp bend in the road. The scooter flies off the road. John lands in a haystack. And now John knows how to ride a scooter. John plays with a train. John doesn't have a train, but Peter has. John visits Peter because he wants to play with it. There is an engine and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carriages. The train goes over the bridge. The train goes through the tunnel. The train goes past the forest and the village. Muff also wants to play. Cats love to play. Muff jumps on the engine and stops the train. John is angry and says, "Go away, Muff. When you are here, we cannot play." In the helicopter. A helicopter lands on the grass. All the children run to it. The pilot asks, "Who wants to fly with me?" "I want to," "And I want to," cry the children. John and Jane go first. There they are, sitting in the cabin, and the helicopter takes off. The rest of the children wave goodbye. Spot barks as usual. From high up in the sky, Jane and John can see everything. They see the house of Granny and Grandpa, and the garden, the pond, and the large tree, and the stream near the garden, and the road with lots of cars, and the tractors in the fields. Everything is very small when you see it from so high up. Now the helicopter is flying over the house of Granny and Grandpa. "This is where we live," says John. "All right," says the pilot, and he lets a ladder down. John and Jane climb down the ladder. Granny looks out of the window and says, "Where are you coming from, children?" "Right out of the sky, Granny," says John. "The angels say hello." A hut in the tree. "Come and look at this tree. See how big it is," says John to his friends. "Come on, let's build a hut up in the tree." John and Peter are sitting high up in the tree. They are pulling up big branches with a rope. Some of the children are carrying branches from the forest. Others are helping under the tree. At last the hut is finished. Muff is already sitting in the hut. The children also want to climb up. The boys are already climbing the tree. Spot stays at the foot of the tree. He doesn't know how to climb. He sits under the tree and whines. Granny makes cakes for the children. Jane is a good girl. She brings the cakes in a little basket. John asks, "Where are we going to eat the cakes?" All the boys cry, "Here, up here in our hut." Jane ties the basket to the rope. And there is the basket with the cakes. The boys pull it up into the tree. Spot barks and barks. He also wants a cake. The little basket goes up again into the tree, not with cakes, but with Spot. Spot is happy. At last he gets a cake. A flight to the moon. John, Spot and Muff are astronauts. At the moment of takeoff, all three are lying in the cabin. The big rocket takes off. It climbs quicker and quicker into the sky. Spot looks out of the cabin and whines. John thinks, "Why is Spot whining? What does he see?" John also looks out. he sees the moon. It is huge and round. How near it is! And there, far away, another globe is shining. That is our Earth, John tells Spot. But Spot doesn't hear anything. He is looking at the moon, surprised. We are going to land on the moon, says John. Get ready. Put your spacesuits on. Look, our 3 astronauts are on the moon. They're jumping high. They feel so light. And now they're jumping over a crater. John cries happily. Hurrah! 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 Granny is sitting on John's bed and asks him, Why are you crying, John? Are you ill? John replies, Oh, Granny, how fantastic it is on the moon. On the moon? Granny is surprised. But we are on the earth. Now, come quickly, your breakfast is ready. The Harvest Brigade. It is harvest time. Day and night the tractors are working in the fields. The trucks are coming and going on the road. The children also want to help. John organizes a brigade. There are already many carts in the yard. There are big carts and little carts. The children are repairing them. Everything must be ready for tomorrow. The sun is rising. A long file goes down the road to the fields. John walks in front and his friends walk behind him. Each of them has his cart and his dog. The dogs are pulling the carts. The children are going across the fields. They're working. Nothing must be left on the ground. Muff is chasing mice. That is also very important. In the evening, the brigade comes home. The carts are full. The children are very tired. The dogs are also very tired. But they are all happy. What does Jane do in winter? It is sunset. Jane and John are sitting outside on a bench. John says to Jane, It is lovely here in summer, but what is it like in winter? Jane replies, Winter is also beautiful here. There is always snow. When it snows, it covers the trees, the grass, the hills, and the roofs. What do you do in winter? Asks John. And Jane replies, I go skiing, I go sledging, I go ice skating, and sometimes I make snowmen. John says, Oh, that's really fantastic, Jane. In the town I can only go ice skating. Come to see us at Christmas, then, says Jane. We always have a huge Christmas tree, and under it there are many toys. That's a good idea. I'm certainly going to come, says John. We can go skiing together, and we can sledge and even make snowmen. Together we can make a huge snowman. At that moment Granny calls out, "Bedtime, children. It is already late." And that is the end of another day in the children's holidays. The children fly their kites. Summer is almost over. Autumn is not far away. The children are flying their kites. John's kite is red. Bob's kite is yellow. Peter's kite is green. Anne's kite is blue. The children are running over the grass. The kites climb high up into the sky. The kites are already as high as the plane. The pilot waves hello to the children. Jane and Anne also wave hello. The children run quickly. They want to overtake the plane. But what an idea! The plane is much quicker than the children. Soon the plane disappears behind the forest, and the children cannot see it.
Around the last campfire. It is the last evening of the holidays. Grandpa prepares a campfire in the garden. All John's friends are there: Peter, Paul, Jack, Dick, Bob, Anne and Jane. The children are sitting around the campfire. They are cooking sausages. Spot is working hard. He is bringing wood for the fire. Muff is lazy. She does nothing at all. The children are singing songs. Grandpa and Granny are singing with them. John is playing his guitar. Jane and Anne are jumping over the fire. The fire burns lower and lower. The night is dark. It is dark everywhere, except in the sky where the stars are shining.
Look,
Cries John.
a star is falling.
And Jane says,
That's a shooting star. Quickly make a wish. It can come true.
as quickly as he can, John says,
I wish to come back to play with you next holidays. Of course you are going to come back.
cry the children. Then they make a ring around the fire and dance and laugh happily. This time, just tonight, the children don't have to go to bed early. Going home. Today is the last day of the holidays. Granny and Grandpa go with John to the station. Grandpa pulls a cart with John's heavy suitcase. Granny carries Muff. Spot runs around and jumps about happily. John, Muff and Spot are already on the train. All the children are at the station. They want to say goodbye to their friends.
Come back for Christmas.
Calls out Jane.
Come back next holidays.
The children call out.
Of course I'm going to come back.
Cries John. Granny, Grandpa, Jane and all the friends, they all wave goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, John.
The children cry.
Have a good journey.
cry Granny and Grandpa.
Goodbye, and thank you for everything,
cries John. And the train sets off. Let's say goodbye to the happy holidays of John, Muff and Spot. Goodbye, everyone.